short 40 video. The longest video of this is 43 minutes, and uh, to really
Yeah,
understand
watching
trapping,
my
I think
story
I'm gonna give
how
a
you
video
hit pain.
when it's trying
You
to
know, I
demonstrate
haven't made it way right through
just
the
to see
I'm
that
gonna go with
film,
motherfucking thing and
and
motherfucking brain. Yo,
I
I'm
think
going out in
to be
the
honest,
range.
because
I can't change
usually
one thing, but I ain't looking for fame. I am
you
gonna
see
spit
it's also
everything.
trapping
I'm
because
trying to do my best
you
to
do
make this motherfucking game.
control or
So I'll
anything
put this shit on
that's governed by
SoundCloud,
I
fucking
think
now.
you are trapping
You know,
yourself
be what I say, what
securing
so this, man, you
that
know,
submission
damn, I
with
can spit Japanese, but I'm not here to
and
please your motherfucker,
utilizing
guys. Bitches on their
staking
knees, some of these nuts,
the submission itself. So how you do submission to let's bring down the armbar, right? You secure the arm. You hold it to your chest and you drop down. And then you'll get tapped. You can also bridge up with your hips to perform the submission. But when you secure that arm, and this is also where somebody try to um you know the pounding around you, and you have them in your guard. Or use the trapping you to control the arm movements, so you can set up the submission. And these are the ranges that you can go from from the trapping. You go from you start with the kicking range, the kick bond range, or kicking range, right? He got four. So kicking range is where maybe I cannot punch you, but I can kick. So to get to you, I need to be able to get to kickboxing range where I can punch and kick, right? Then um you got the boxing range where now you get to the shoulder. You shorten up your weapons. You can't. It's harder for you to kick from boxing range. Not impossible, but it gets a little harder. Um, then you get to trapping the grappling, and if you would think about grappling and trapping, they're both are in the close range of fighting. Uh, it's it's a range that you have to be really comfortable. Okay, because once you get to the trapping range, it can be a good setup to go to grappling. So it's a very important thing to learn these ranges, and I, I think the one reason why uh, we we don't really talk about these ranges is we don't fully understand what trapping is, how we can use it in a realistic scenario. Because we talk about we go watch
Range,
this video.
boxing range, trapping range, or grappling range. Now, the important thing to know of these four ranges is that one range is a little bit more combative than the rest, and that is trapping range. Now, when I say combative, I'm talking about for a street fight. Now, first of all, I want to illustrate to you what constitutes what range. Okay.
Well, actually, all those ranges can be combative range for a street fight. Um, I think what he is meaning to say is saying is trapping is a range where you can use knives of weapons, whatever weapon you have in your hand, you can use trapping to do this. So that's where Hoodbud comes in play. And you got um, do do mock and all that. You have those motions where you have to rely on those. So you're not sitting to see if you can tie each other's hand up. No, you or um, using sensitivity that you taught from the drill, so you can control the situation. And that close camera range.
Okay, Mark. Kicking range is the extension of the leg. That's the first thing. So as the leg is extended, this is kicking range. If I cannot reach with my hands, but the feet can kick me in any kick. Punching range is the extension of the jab. The jab is here. We're inside of most of the kicks, but we're also outside of the elbow range. Then you have trapping range, which is right here. Closest range you have before you get to the ground. On the ground, wrestling, headlock, roll around the ground, that's wrestling range. Trapping range, is the common denominator of Jeet Kune Do and of the Filipino martial arts. This range is very combative in that it is an art and not...
As I said, when he said Filipino martial arts, he's talking about Hubud. And the base of JKD was this Wing Chun.
...a sport. In trapping range, you've got your head. This is your headbutt. Working down, you have your teeth. Any bite. If I'm up here, he's got the bite.
Taking the page of Iron Man Tendency. Even the one take clinch is trapping. You trapping when you trap the hand to get those knees, or using the elbow in the clinch. You are trying to trap. You get you could also use the trapping to get to that dominant position. It's just really how you flow. You flow with it, right?
From the teeth, we have the chin. Okay, so if you go for double leg down here, this is the chin, or the chin here. Okay, from the chin, we have the shoulder. Now, the shoulder is not a tool that's going to blow somebody away. I'm not going to run in and shoulder bump them, run out and go, well, did I beat them? Okay, the shoulder is just a means to an end. If I'm in here, it's just a little bump to get another punch. So it's just a little bump. It's not something that's going to blow the guy away, but it's a means to an end. Okay, from the shoulder, we have the elbow. The elbow is main tool in Kali. This is the main tool.
Yeah, so he's doing what I call distractions. The elbow, destroying the destruction, you are destroying the limbs, and they work, and they can hurt pretty bad. If it's done right, put them out of commission. So, let's continue.
Thai boxing uses elbow a lot, Bando boxing. Okay? Elbow, we have the form. You can use the inner form or the outer form. Okay, the inner form can blow smoke. Okay, this is one of the tools, turn this way. Okay, as you pull here, this is a little bump here, it's called the antecubital fossa, or the inner form. Okay, as I pull the neck here, this is when you send it. As you send it, boom, it comes back with the elbow. So the inner form is a good tool. Working our way down, of course, you have the hand. Hand for any trap. Okay?
So don't go back from that. And
working our way down, of course, you have the hand.
This is an illusion, because when you trap someone like that, that's just a sensitivity drill. If you can pull that off, then you really go, man. You do fantastic and trapping, but of course, people have seen Bruce Lee pull this off in sparring. can it be done? Of course. It depends how well you understand the trapping game. How can you make it work for you? That's what that's all about. It's can you make it work to your advantage? And it it looks cool. I say use what traps you can make it work for you. Right? Uh, you're not Bruce Lee. There's only one of them. So uh, you you play with it to see. Okay, I know if I do this in the drill, this if I can do it real live play, live play here. Because when you know that okay, I practice this up in the live play over and over. It's okay. This works. This actually works. I can go here, boom, boom, straight blast, blah, 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 blah. Oh my gosh! I'll keep playing with that. Practice, 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 and you see results. And like you got your hand over your eyes or whatever you do with the like when you become disbelieved and stuff like. And I know I did it, but I still can't believe it. You know what I'm saying? So when I mean, people see this kind of trap here. That's what we like to use the leg for a sweep or whatever. You step on the foot. That's a trap. It doesn't have to be what he's doing right here. It's a way. It means to temporarily use. It's temporarily used. So I'm not trying to completely use. He can. It's a pan, but he can still move. He still can get out of that move. It's So if you do it, even do it, so it's like the trying to find what try to figure out what reaction that you want to get out. Sometimes even the reaction you was hoping for might not come, but if you find a different reaction, then use that. As far as that.
Hand for any trap. Okay, the hip. Once again, the hip is just, if we're in here struggling, just a little bump of the hip to put in a knee, to put in an elbow. Okay, from the hip, we have the butt. If you grab me from behind, you could slam the rear end into the groin, headbutt from behind. From the knee, trapping, you've got the knee range, then you've got your shin. So each one of these tools are in trapping range. As you can see, trapping is in fighting. Okay? When we're out in long range, this is still the probing range. This is the range we're moving around. We're just probing each other. We're playing the game. Regardless of what we do out here, it's still a game. Even boxing, full contact, it's still a game. When you get inside of boxing, when you get in this range right here, this is now where the fight starts, where all these tools begin. Now the key to JKD, once again, is the interaction of all of the different arts. They have to blend. There has to be a continuity. You have to be a Thai boxer, then you have to be a Savate man. This has to flow back and forth. Then you have to be a Wing Chun man. Then from there you have to be a Kali man. This all has to blend. It's not just a question of grabbing a bunch of arts, sticking them all here and saying, I train of all these. It's not a question of training of all those. They have to blend together. So if you have an art where you replace on the hip, this won't work for what we do. Not to say it's not right, it's right or wrong, but it won't work for what we do, because from here, if I have this sort of reference point, my hand has to go from the hip all the way up to here to get a trap. Whereas Thai boxing, if I'm here, this is their position, not on the hip, the trap is more effective because we have our economy of motion. All you have to do is know the techniques, know the blend of arts, and know the attribute that it takes in that range, which is sensitivity. And sensitivity is something that can be maintained until you're 90 years old. If you're an art that chooses all high kicking, well, you can burn out at a certain time. And if you don't burn out, it might take you 2 hours a day to maintain those kicks. But we're talking about elbows, knees, headbutts, What do you do to maintain a headbutt? Butt the bag for 2 hours a day? You don't have to do that because the tools are very easy to maintain. So let's discuss why we like the trap. Number one, very few people do it. Number two, the tools are very easy to maintain. And number three, you have all 12 of your tools in trapping range. Whereas in these other ranges, you've only got a small variety of your tools. Trapping range in the fight. That is our goal, is to get into trapping range. The one thing
that's not really true. In every grappling, you can bite, you can headbutt, you can gout. I mean, you can, depending on the submissions, right? To get out. You still. I mean, they're not legal to do per se, but you can still use something to. I mean, it's gray area.
you have to know is that you have to go through 2 ranges to get to the 3rd range, kicking and boxing. Now, how we get into these ranges, there are 2 main ways. One is a stop hit, and the other way that we use as an entry is pulled from the Filipino martial arts. We call these destruction. And I don't want you to get hung up on where your hands are or where your feet are. For example, if I happen to be in this position, this is a trap I do. I don't even know what lead I was in. If I happen to be here, this is a trap I do. So he jabs, I go to here, but I get this energy. Now, right from here, all I'm going to do is fire this cross right at the face. We always train on the shoulder. Once again, gives me this energy. Okay? So as soon as he jabs, I get this to here, boom, and I come with this. A minute I come with this. This is the knee. Now I go to Wing Chun, and I get an inside foot sweep. When you're in that range, you're firing at him 1,000 strikes a second. You just want to go as fast as you can, like a bunch of BBs. Think of it like that. Not one cannonball that if you miss, you're lost. So when he punches, if I miss with this hand here, I can still go to this shot. So the concept is, regardless what I'm doing, 1 or 2 may miss. I'm just flowing. He jabs. Destroy the fist with the elbow. Continue to the eyes. Come in with what we call a wedge. This is from Kali. All of the footwork is Filipino footwork. The angulation. I get what I call a double pock here. I'm going to pull the neck, take it with that, and come back to the elbow. Headbutt, come down to here, and drive it down to finish it off. Okay, move around. Okay. Keep your left hand low.
So he's straight blasting. I mean, and straight blast. That's a nice straight blast. Nice little knee to the body.
The next destruction we're going to do is if you're really pulled back. For example, if Mark feints across, and I happen to be here, and then the jab comes, this is when we come in. Once you have this down, then you have this one down, then you have this one down, then we put in the angulation, zoning to this, or zoning to there, or zoning to here. He jabs, it's a horizontal gunting.
That's just the basics of that. I mean, I don't know. Let's see here. Let's go
From there, the first move we did was grabbing the humerus and the other guy trying to hit. Then from there we escalated up to the neck, where one side is trying to hit the body or the face, and we're onto the neck. Now what I'd like to do is combine this position with this one. Keep in mind that between both movements, there's a lot of hitting, a lot of elbowing, a lot of kneeing. So what we're going to do is just jump from Dumog position to Dumog position, but through the insertions is where the shit hits the fan. Okay, Tom, come on in. Now remember, in reality, we'd be moving around here, and I would jab and I would enter. I would enter with something, okay, a straight blast or whatever. We're going to start right from here, okay, same thing. I'm grabbing the arm and I'm protecting him and protecting my face from getting hit. Now at this point from the arm, I just shift up now at the neck. Every time I can do that, boom, that's when I'm going to put this in. At this point here, I can go to a foot sweep if I want, or I can just go back out. I just want to keep control. Well, I'm in control. This is when he can put in a few hits, but then I just move back around and borrow that. If I want to put in savant here, I just stretch him out at this position. Boom, I can come back into here and do it again. See, so you can go from art to art, provided you understand the energy. If he's a little bit further out, you go to savant. If he's a little bit closer, you go to Kali. If he's right in between, you might go to boxing. You don't know. The point is we can flow. from art to art.
That's a very good point. If you, when you are mixing the martial art, if you're MMA or whatever, you really want to uh, be real balanced and flow from those arts, and like if you don't you if you go Muay Thai and you, you go to from there and that range, you keep that range. You can use the footwork. Then you use boxing and box them out, and you can trap them up with the boxing range. And then you go to uh, different variations and be dominant and that specific style, right? If you or even if you're a jujitsu guy, right? It, you want to be balanced and try to be able to use boxing or Muay Thai, right, as your secondary thing. So you can in fact you can even use Muay Thai to get to the point where you want to be, which is going to the ground. Take Muay Thai, go from the clinch, get down to uh, the single leg or double leg, or pull down from the clinch with the guard to from clinch to guard. It's really uh, depending on how you want to flow from those positions. If you, because the ideally and your goal is to get to a dominant position anyways. And even if it's sparring or sparring, you're not trying to win. You trying to it's more of a game. But once you get to a fight, as if you were doing UFC or whatever, it's you have only one. We know there's only gonna be one winner. You gotta be that winner if you want to win the fight. Because so you gotta be balanced and what you do. I really I want to do more of this. So probably comment down below. See what else you want to for me to talk about and analyze, break things, or just break things down as far as self-defense goes. Thank you for watching and have.
Yo, this is your boy System Toe.
Cue track.